history. From the heavens came a Savior. From the ground arose a King. Every day is born in darkness. Every winter yields to spring. Let us speak of resurrection, even in the suffering. You can do anything. You can do anything. My eyes will see your glory. My eyes will see your glory. You can do anything. You can do anything. My eyes will see your glory. My eyes will see your glory. Oh, yes, my eyes will see the glory of the King. As the sisters beg the Savior, come and once to Bethany, for the one you love is dying. Yes. But his yes was not to be. And as his weeping begs the question, oh, could his friend he not have healed? Oh, but there's good news. But it's still the resurrection. Oh, and even when the tomb is sealed, oh, you can do anything. You can do anything. And my eyes will see your glory. My eyes will see. You can do anything. Oh, you can do anything. My eyes will see your glory. My eyes will see. Sing my eyes will see your glory. My eyes will see your glory. And the dead will live. The dead will live again. Be reminded that the dead will live, the dead will live again in his name. And the dead will live, the dead will live again. Oh, the dead will live, the dead will live. Oh, for your glory, the dead will live, the dead will live. You can do. For my eyes will see your glory. My eyes, oh, thing you can do. You can do anything. My God will never fail. You can do anything. Oh, for my eyes will see your glory. Oh, I declare. My eyes will see your glory. Yes, they will, my eyes will see your glory. Oh, Jesus, they'll see your glory. Yeah. You can do anything. Yes, you can do anything. My eyes will see your glory. My eyes will see your glory. Yes, you can do anything. Lord, you can do anything. My eyes will see your glory. My eyes will see your glory. Lord, my eyes will see your glory. Yeah, my eyes will see your glory. Lord, my eyes will see your glory. And my eyes will see falling on every face. My eyes will see showers of mercy and grace. Oh, my eyes will see. Oh, my eyes will see. Oh, nothing hindering, nothing blocking. Oh, for my eyes. Oh, my eyes will see. Oh, my eyes will see. Will see your glory. Oh, yes, they will, Lord. We'll see your glory like heaven invades it. Oh, show yourself true, Lord.
Hi friends, this is us on Real Life, Real Faith, and this is our new show, and we just want to encourage you to make sure that you watch this week. We are on the topic of grief, and so whatever you've experienced in your life, whatever loss or hopelessness or grief that you've experienced, we want to encourage you to tune in this week with Pastor Fall, with Christy, myself, and we are going to unite together as the body of Christ to bring comfort to those of you who have struggled with grief. So make sure that you tune in, Real Life, Real Faith.
I just want to say thank you to our wonderful partners at House of Destiny. We have come a far way over these past 7 years since Kim passed away. And you, our wonderful partners, have kept this network going. You have kept us on the air where we are reaching the unreachable, touching the untouchable. And that is the most important thing we can do, is lay up our treasure in heaven where it matters the most. The world seems to be spiraling out of control, but we have God's word, we have the Bible, we have our pathway is lit before us. And I just want to say thank you to you all for supporting us. It's been quite a journey. And like I said, it's just amazing that we're actually still on the air and reaching out to people who are desperate, have desperate needs, who need Jesus so badly, don't they, Donné?
Yes. And you know what? When Dad first passed away, we weren't actually sure if we should keep the ministry going or what to do. And when Mom and I prayed about it, we felt God leading us to continue with the House of Destiny Network and the legacy of what has been done with this ministry and through this ministry over 40 years. And we couldn't have done it without your support. So we encourage you to continue that support, because we face many giants in this world today. And those that we are up against are backed by billions of dollars. And we are still here, a little remnant, shouting, standing on the rock, and doing what God's will is, even if it's hard, and even if we're scrutinized and judged. And so many of you have joined us over the years because of that very reason, and because of the things that were prophesied from this place. And they are sacred things. And so when you give to that, you're giving towards something that far surpasses.
It's definitely eternal.
Yes,
you're laying your reward up in heaven where it matters the most. And I always say to my children, you know, we've given our heart to the Lord. We know that our salvation is secure. But now we need to do some good works. Mm-hmm. And those good works gain us rewards, eternal rewards. That's our inheritance, are these rewards of laying up our treasure in heaven. So
that's right.
Be a part of giving to the House of Destiny and God's work today. And we just are so thankful to God and to all of you. So
yes,
so true, Donné?
Yes, it is. And everybody, as you're watching, you'll see scrolling below on your screen many different ways that you can give to support what we're doing here at the House of Destiny. We have so many things in the works. We're launching new channels all the time on our network that helps to support and grow the body of Christ, especially in this time.
Yes.
And so as you see that scrolling across your screen, do pray and ask God what it is that He would have you give to support what we're doing. And we will continue to pray for you and support you and know that we love you. And we're here to keep spreading the word and spreading the gospel and all of these incredible prophecies that came through my dad and have come through this ministry to give us hope.
Yes.
And a guide into the future that is not hopeless. And so we thank you so much once again. And let's go back to our broadcast now.
Yes. Let's go to the broadcast now.
Welcome, everybody, to Conversations. I'm here with my mother, Jane, as usual, and we have a very special guest today. But before I bring him on, let's explain why, right, Mom?
Yes.
So many of you have noticed that we've some banners and other things on the bottom of our website and on our social media posts with Beverly Hills Precious Metals, and you may be wondering what that's all about. And so today we have our dear friend, and this is someone I have known for over a year now, is our friend Andrew Sorchini. And Andrew is with Beverly Hills Precious Metals, and he's here to talk to us today about God's currency, and that's gold and, of course, silver and precious metals. Yes. Now, before we bring Andrew on, just so you know, he has been doing this for more than 30 years. Starting out privately collecting precious metals, and in 2010 opened Beverly Hills Precious Metals. And I met him at the Reawaken America tour with Clay Clark and General Flynn, who he is regularly on the tour, and so am I. And so I have gotten to know him it's been over a year now, and he's become a friend and also someone that I trust, as well as my mother. And so, welcome, Andrew Sorchini. It's such an honor to have you. How are you doing today, Andrew?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me. And it's truly my pleasure to come on and explain to people how to protect everything that they've worked their entire lives for with gold and silver.
There's so much uncertainty going on in the world right now because of the one world system that is we can see it unfolding. We can see that there's going to be a one world currency, and I know that a lot of people are very concerned about their what they've accumulated over the years, their 401ks,
yes,
their IRAs, and they're very, very concerned about what is actually happening in the world. We watch the BRICS nations, Russia and China, and they're hoarding gold. And it's just very interesting position that we are as the church, a very interesting position that we find ourselves. And so we can see a lot of these companies just forcing people in a direction that we don't know what is right and what is wrong. And so I know that a lot of people are investing in gold and silver. And so Andrew, of course, he's a Christian. He's given his heart to the Lord, and he is here to just give us a little bit of information about exactly what we can do in this situation we find ourselves in. So Andrew, tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved with this.
Well, I started off as a little kid. My parents, or actually my mother worked in a grocery store, and she would see silver coins interchange as she's like checking people out, and she would buy those silver coins out of the till and bring them home to me. And I just I collected them. I liked the old coins, and eventually we moved near where there was this shopping mall where I just had to hop over the back wall from the house of where I lived at, cross the street, and I met a shopping mall. And in there, they had a coin shop. And I used to just go in there and just kind of hang out. And I would maybe buy an old coin or two and just kind of watch everything that's happening in there. And I just remember just being blown away by watching these people, older men, older women, come in with cash. I'm talking stacks of $100 bills and buy gold coins. And I'm just like, I'm wondering why are these people trading cash for gold coins? Like, what are they going to do with this gold when they get it? And how does this benefit them? And the owner of the shop told me, he said, well, the dollars that they're trading for gold really aren't worth the paper that they're printed on. It's by definition fiat currency, where we just have an agreement with me, you, and everybody else that's out there spending these dollars that they're worth something. So if it says $20, we've agreed it's worth $20, but really it could be canceled out here in America or any other country at any given time. And he went on to explain to me that having physical gold and silver is God's money and has been around for thousands of years. And it doesn't matter where you live, what country you live, whether you're rich or poor, this is and always has been the number one currency. And I just remember being blown away by that. And that's why I've been doing this ever since I was a teenager.
So tell us a little bit about your company, Beverly Hills Precious Metals.
Yeah, so what I do, before you do that, I do have a specific question with that. So if somebody comes to you or contacts you and they purchase gold, there's more that they can do with it than just bury it in the backyard or stick it in the safe, right? That's what I want to know about.
Really, what you have to do is just make sure that you take delivery of it, like if you can, if you have a safe place to put it. Usually I recommend putting it in a safe. We do have people that actually have buried it in the backyard, but keep it somewhere safe and let at least one family member know where you have it. And it's just so important. I don't recommend putting it in a bank vault because right now the dollar is very, very unstable. We just saw the news yesterday that Bank of America was creating fake accounts and doing the same thing that basically Wells Fargo did a few years ago. The banks are in trouble, and how they get a credit rating is based on the number of accounts that they have, and it's measured against the number of new accounts that they have. So that's the reason why Bank of America or Wells Fargo would do this. And if they're doing something that's illegal like that, where they're actually being fined $250 million, you know that the banks are not in a good situation. So don't keep your gold in the bank, because if there's a big run on the banks and everyone decides that they want to withdraw their cash out of the banks, and you're in line to enter the bank to pull the gold that you have in a safe deposit box out, once that bank runs out of money for the people that are trying to withdraw, the bank's going to close and you won't be able to go in there and get your gold. So it's better to keep it somewhere where you have it on your person. And for people that are from other countries, you know that gold is number one. In Asia and in the Middle East, when people get married, they don't give them toasters and all these things for their home. They give them gold, and they put the gold away. And even with their wedding jewelry, they usually have two sets. They have one that's very ornate and valuable that they put away, and then they have one that they wear every single day. Really having physical gold and silver, to me, is the safest bet in these really uncertain times. So when people purchase the physical gold and silver from us, I like to tell people it's kind of a joke, but it is the truth at the same time. When you receive your gold and silver, it's not like this life-changing experience. So when you receive the box, it's fully insured until you sign for it, but it is physical gold and silver. It's real gold and silver, but it will not change your life. It's just another part of your portfolio. It's a way that you protect your family. And if the dollar were to go belly up, if we do switch over to a central bank digital currency, you have gold and silver while you're still able to get it.
So what about someone wanting to roll their IRA over into silver or gold? Do they have to take physical possession of it, or can it be part of their portfolio?
Or how does it work?
It's actually both, and I'll explain how that works. So let's say that you have an existing 401 or an existing IRA at, say, Vanguard or Fidelity. So those typically hold stocks or mutual funds. So let's say you have $100,000 in an IRA at Vanguard, and you contact us and you would like to have one that holds physical gold and silver. So we start off by sending you an 8-page application that we fill out almost all of it for you. You just need to sign here, sign there, and send it back to us. Then our custodian that we use, which is a firm called Equity Institutional, would then contact Vanguard and try to transfer over whatever dollar amount we agreed on. In this example, say it's $100,000. So then $100,000 transfers from Vanguard over to Equity Institutional. Once Equity Institutional receives that $100,000, we're notified. Then I call the client and say, hey, the $100,000 is transferred over. Now it's time for us to invest that into gold and silver. So it is physical gold and silver, but in that case, you don't take delivery of it because it's a retirement account.
I see.
So we can't hold it for you either. It goes to a third-party depository, which we use one in Delaware, and I'll talk more about that in a moment here. But your retirement gold and silver would actually be held at a storage box at Delaware Depository, and it only costs $100 a year. So you might have $10 million in there in gold and silver, and it's still only $100 a year. If you had $5,000 of gold and silver there, it's still $100 a year. And that includes insurance.
How safe is that?
Yeah.
It actually, in my opinion, it's very, very safe. I've worked with Delaware Depository myself for 15 years, almost 16 years. And half of our company's inventory is actually stored there. Like millions of dollars of gold and silver that I own is actually stored there to be able to fulfill IRA transactions.
Well, that was the other question I was going to ask you. Where do you get the gold from to send to people? Okay,
now I work with a handful of different wholesalers. We buy back from the public. We buy back from our clients. Anything that you get from us, you can always sell back to us at market rate, whatever it's going for on that day. And for people that have invested in gold and silver, say back in November, if those people want to sell any gold or silver back to us right now, they've actually made money. And making money on your gold and silver investment is not your primary goal.
No.
The primary goal should be preserving the capital that you've worked for.
Yes.
The second goal would be making money with it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And as far as the price of gold, how has the price of gold fluctuated this past year?
So in the last year, it's gone from about, I would say about $1,800 an ounce to almost $2,100 an ounce, then back down to about $1,950 an ounce. And with a year and a half left roughly before the election, there's usually every 4 years, this is such an uncertain time where people do get scared. And when people get scared, they invest into gold and silver.
Yes.
So I would expect that the next year and a half are going to be very, very volatile in the other markets. I think real estate's going to take a hit, and the stocks seem to be doing pretty well right now. And that's probably due to the government printing a lot of dollars out of thin air. Yes. So I feel that owning physical gold and silver is just the greatest thing to be able to protect yourself right now. And if I'm wrong, and if your decision to invest in gold and silver turns out to not be the best one, it's not a permanent decision. You can always turn it back into cash anytime you want.
Yeah, how easy is it to do that?
So we have people do that every single day, either through either selling back gold and silver that they bought in a cash transaction or even IRAs. So I'll walk you through how to sell it back to us. So let's say that we have sold you physical gold and silver. Oftentimes people will send me a text or an email or call us and say, hey, I need to sell back $10,000 worth of the gold or silver that I bought from you. So I'll just go through their inventory and say, okay, would you rather sell some gold or some silver or both? So I get the answer, and then I make a recommendation on what they would need to send back to us in order to get $10,000 back. Then we send you a FedEx label by email. You just print it out, box up the gold and silver, head over to a FedEx store, hand them the box. It's nondescript. You don't tell them what's in it, and hand them the shipping label, and it's fully insured until we receive it. So you might not know this, but these FedEx trucks that you see moving up and down the street and the UPS trucks, they've got gold and silver on. And this is the only way to be able to transport the gold. We're selling to people all around the country. So it's a pretty regular thing.
So when people sell their jewelry and their gold jewelry and how do we know that the gold coin is exactly what the carat is supposed to be? How can we be sure of that?
Well, that's where you need to buy from somebody that you trust. And in this case, the two of you and myself, we have so many friends in common. And through those friends, I've met thousands of people that are our clients. And the integrity of what we do is like the number one thing. It really is. And doing business with a company that's vouched for by people you know could save you a lot of heartache, because when things get difficult in the world, that's when the scammers come out of the woodwork, and you just don't know who to trust. So do business with somebody that's vouched by somebody that you already believe in or follow, and you'll be safe. But to answer your question specifically, the wholesalers that we deal with, when they receive the gold and silver, and when we receive the gold and silver, we have a camera that watches us open the box. Then we test each coin to make sure that they're real. And they're tested from the wholesalers to us. And then once they leave here, they go to you. It's always, everything has always been legit the entire time that we've been in business. We've never had a fake coin. There in China, they have a big problem with that. So we don't deal with the countries like outside of US. We're probably missing out on a lot of business by not doing that. But really, I want to be able to protect our clients and make sure that they get good product.
Yeah, because I remember coming from South Africa. Back then, we used to wear a lot of gold, and we, of course, had the Kruger Rand. And we knew that Kruger Rand was what it was supposed to be, because it had that little impala buck on it, the little deer buck. And people, of course, I had one. I had it in a little case. I wore it around my neck. People do that in South Africa. So, I mean, gold back then we were talking about, we had that as an investment, really, the Kruger Rand. And I'm sure that America's got a gold coin, don't they?
Oh, yeah.
We do. We have the gold American Eagle.
Yes,
and
that's right.
Those are bullion coins. And we try to get people to move away from the bullion coins. And I'm not saying anything bad about the Kruger Rand. Back then, the Kruger Rand was the only 1 ounce gold bullion coin that you could buy from any of the countries.
That's
like
right.
any of them. And I remember, because when I first started working at the coin shop in 1985, when I was 15 years old, all we ever sold was Kruger Rands. There was no American Eagle. It came out the following year, 1986, and they've made them every year since then. So if you weren't buying the Kruger Rand, you could get like a 1 ounce gold bar. And now those are considered to be bullion items, and bullion items are tracked by the government. So when you sell them, it generates a 1099, and immediately it's reported on your taxes. So we have other gold and silver that we recommend that you do that are non-reportable. And those are old coins that used to circulate as our currency here in America. So you guys might remember that old dimes, quarters, and half dollars dated 1964 and before had silver in them. And back 100 years ago, we used to spend gold coins just as currency.
Yes.
So I recommend going with the $20 gold pieces. They're American made. They've got an ounce of gold in them, and they're non-reportable when you sell them. So for people that reach out to us, I would be happy to go over all of that with you, and non-reportable versus reportable, and try to figure out what might work best for you. And just one other thing, going back to the retirement accounts, I forgot to point one thing out. When you do a transfer from, say, Fidelity or Vanguard into a precious metals IRA, that is not a taxable event. So if you were to call up your broker and say, hey, I'm thinking about transferring my IRA into a precious metals IRA, the first thing they're going to tell you is, oh, no, don't do that. You're going to take a tax hit. they'll tell you that because they don't want you to transfer it over. They don't want to lose you as a client. They don't want to lose your business to precious metals. But that actually isn't true. It's a non-taxable event. You have 60 days to roll over. It's called a rollover. So you have 60 days to roll over from one IRA account into another before it becomes a taxable event. And we get these done in about 2 weeks.
So you can take your IRA, you can roll it over into physical gold, and you can actually take possession of that physical gold without
being taxed.
Carry on.
If you take possession of it, then it is a taxable event.
Okay.
If you have it stored at the third-party depository in Delaware, it is not taxable.
I see. Very interesting. Very interesting.
So here's how we usually recommend that people do it. Let's say that the client is 75 years old and you're retired and you do draw out of your retirement on a regular basis. So whether it be monthly or quarterly or a couple times a year, doesn't really matter. But what I would tell those people is take the gold out and have it delivered to you just a bit at a time, like maybe every month or every 3 months or every 6 months or once a year. And you would be taxed on only the amount that you take out. So to me, it just makes sense because you're not pulling out $200,000 of gold and being taxed on it when you're retired and you don't have new money coming in and you'll have a big tax bill. So you just want to take it in kind of small bites, like I like to call it.
So say this digital currency, the government comes out, and we can no longer buy or sell because now they've put a mark on you. Okay.
So this is if this happens.
This is the scenario I'm trying to. So say they've put a mark on you. You can no longer buy or sell, but you need to get food for yourself. I mean, how do you do that with the gold coins?
Okay. So that's just extremely such an awesome question. So the central bank digital currencies are a way of where we can be monitored. Like any good or service that you purchase with that, when it happens, is going to be subject to approval. So let's say that you're somebody that has bought a lot of ammunition for guns. They might turn off certain things that you can buy or even sell, and so you do lose a little bit of freedom that way. But having the physical gold and silver, you would be able to buy things from other people using that in an emergency situation. So you want to have different denominations.
Yes.
You don't only have the gold. If you have, say, silver and you have some of the half dollars, the quarters, the dimes, eventually you could go and buy a loaf of bread with a silver dime. It would become much more clear what each of those coins are worth when we get to that point. But it is very important that you do have something set aside. Even if you don't believe in having gold and silver, you should have some set aside as a small portion of your portfolio just in case. And here's another thing is that the central bank digital currency might actually be gold backed. And I believe Russia is going to announce that at a summit in August, like the 3rd or 4th week of August. And if we do go to a gold backed digital currency, I believe that could make gold go up to say 2,000-3,000, maybe even 5,000 an ounce almost overnight.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't want people to contact us and say, hey, I want to buy gold from Andrew in Beverly Hills Precious Metals because Andrew said gold might go to 5,000. But it's just, if you think about all of the dollars that our government has printed that are out there floating around, and if they're going to replace those dollars with something else that has like kind of an infinite supply, like a central bank digital currency, but then they're going to back that by gold, I just don't feel that there's enough gold to cover that. So that would probably make the physical gold that's out there become quite valuable.
Wow.
And what's good for gold is great for silver. So it's not just limited to gold. It would benefit silver as well.
Yeah, tell us a bit about silver.
I feel that silver has a better chance to double or triple in price than gold does. So for me, there's reasons to own gold and different reasons to own silver. So here's an example. I've had clients that have like an extensive real estate portfolio, and as they get older, they just decide, hey, I've made a lot of money with this, but I can't do the maintenance on my real estate portfolio anymore. It's time to cash out. So they cash out. Now they've got a few $1 million in the bank, and that's a terrible feeling because you start thinking of all the bad things that could happen and all the ways that you could lose that money. So then you go, okay, well, then what do I do? Well, you purchase a lot of gold and a little bit of silver. So silver is more speculative, and silver can be volatile. You could buy it today. It could, if you tried to sell it 2-3 months from now, you could sell it for 20% more, or maybe even 20% less. It's never meant to be a short-term investment. So if you invest in silver, give it a minimum 2 to 5 years to do what it needs to do. Chances are you're going to be very happy with your investment. But with gold is something that is an excellent store of value. So if you had $100,000 or $500,000, $50,000, or even $1 million, and you just want to park it somewhere that's not a bank, then invest in gold, put it somewhere safe, tell one family member where you have it. And if you run into an emergency 6 months later or 2 months later, just sell a portion of it. You're probably not going to sell it at a loss. You might sell it for a little gain or even what you bought it for, but at least you didn't feel like you could be losing it in the bank. So to me, that's the way to go.
Good.
Yeah.
So we here at the House of Destiny are partnering with you to let our viewers, of course, know about your company. And it's Beverly Hills Precious Metal, and it's beverlyhillspreciousmetal.com is the website.
It's bh-pm.com.
Oh, BH.
It's at the bottom of the screen.
.com.
It's at the bottom of the screen. They can see it.
Okay. And with the promo code Kim Clement, then Andrew will know that you are coming from House of Destiny, or you're one of our followers, and he'll give you a good deal.
Yes, let's, Andrew, explain how that works so that if people contact you after watching you with us, you will give, do they enter a promo code? How does it work? Explain that a little bit so people know.
So I'll walk you through it right now. So if you go to bh-pm.com, right there on the homepage, you'll see a form that you could fill out. And that form is very important in letting us know how we can help you. And I'll explain that in more detail. So you just put in your first name, last name, email address, phone number. There's a section that says, how did you hear about us? And in there, put Kim Clement. And then there's a portion where you could write a couple of notes down on the bottom. And one of the notes that I see a lot is I have an old 401k at a company that I used to work at before, and I would like to learn how to roll that over into a retirement account that can hold physical gold and silver. And I see that so often. So if you put that into the notes section, I will get you over to someone to a department that we have that specifically can help you get that done quickly. And some people say, well, I want to buy non-reportable gold and silver, and put that in there, and I'll get you to a team member that can help you get that done. But when we see the web submission, okay, usually within about 24 to 48 hours, we'll contact you, and then by phone call, and then we'll go over everything with you. This isn't a high pressure deal. We always recommend that if you feel uncomfortable, take a step back, pray about it, and you will gain the answers that you need by doing that, and come back to us when you're comfortable. And let's say that you are ready to make a purchase. It starts off by us having a phone call with you, and we'll make an agreement as to what you're purchasing and how much. We'll send you an invoice. The invoice will have bank wire instructions or an address to mail a check on it. And at your leisure, make the payment. As soon as we receive the payment, we'll send you a paid invoice that shows that it is paid for. And then your order will usually ship in about 2 or 3 days on the average. And once it ships, we'll email you tracking information. So it's a process that really isn't that difficult. Again, when you receive your gold and silver, it's not like this life-changing event. It's just like depositing money into your savings account. It's how you protect yourself. It's how you plan for your future. And And if you ever did get into an emergency, remember that you can sell a portion, if not all of it, back to us at any point.
And so the physical gold. So say somebody wants to take a portion of their income every month and buy gold from you.
Can they do that?
Can people do that?
Yes, you can do that as well. So what we'll do is once you fill out the online form and we have one of our team members to call you, that team member will be your account executive. They're not gonna bug you. It's just what they'll usually do is give you their cell phone number, and oftentimes they'll get a text and they'll say, hey, it's that time of the month. I'm ready to add some more gold. What do you have right now that's a special deal? And one of the things that we've been doing a lot of is the General Flynn 2-ounce silver coin. It's a coin that we made with General Flynn. We designed it. It's been a very, very, very popular coin. It's a non-reportable coin, and that's just been the biggest thing right now. You can see pictures of that on our website, bh-pm.com. There's also some great tools there that talk about the history of inflation, and if you spend some time on the website, you can understand why it is that you would rather have gold and silver over, say, just dollars in your sock drawer or in the bank. So so that way you're not on the phone feeling like you're taking too much time from your account executive. You could actually research a lot of it on our website, or at least have some questions ready for us when we do call you.
Okay. Wow.
Yes, that's
answered a lot of questions today.
I know. I knew it would be good. I have one.
Okay.
How did you meet Clay Clark, Andrew?
Oh, it's this is what I would call a divine meeting. And being in California here, we're always we never take time to just relax. Everything's just go, 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 go. Well, back in 2014, there was a company that had went out of business called Merit Gold here in Southern California. And I purchased part of their client list. And in the client list was two gentlemen that own 9 companies together in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And these people would do 6-figure transactions with me almost every single month, each of them. And I was like, wow, these people are just buying a lot of gold and silver, a really lot of gold and silver. And they started referring me to other people in Tulsa that also wanted to buy from us. And so eventually we met a gentleman that owns Regions Bank based out of Oklahoma, and he became a client. And then I met Clay Stairs, who now is a member of the House of Representatives out there in Oklahoma. He became a client. And here's the good part. Clay says, I want you to meet another guy named Clay Clark. And I'd never heard of Clay Clark. This was like 2.5 years ago. And I didn't ask to meet Clay Clark. And he says, you've got to meet him. And he goes, I'm going to schedule a call. And he's like, when I call you, I'm going to bring him on. So I'm waiting for the call. Clay Stairs calls me. He goes, okay, I'm going to bring on Clay Clark. And I'm on hold for like 10 minutes. I could hear all kinds of people talking in the background, but no one's coming to the phone. Normally, I would have hung up the phone after maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes. But for some reason, I stayed on that call. And that's where I feel that it was a divine meeting. This is something God wanted me to be able to be on that phone call to meet Clay Clark so that I could carry this message to other people that want to learn how to protect themselves, other Christians that want to learn how to protect themselves with gold and silver. When Clay came on, he had that energy he always has. Immediately, I felt warm. I felt like this was going to be a great friend of mine. And he asked me to go on his show. I told him, I don't want to go on camera. Can you set it up as a radio show type thing? And the response I got was just so amazing. I couldn't believe it. And people were just asking me, they're like, how do I buy gold and silver? How do I know how to trust? How much gold should I have versus how much silver? And I was just like, wow, I really do have a lot more to contribute to the world than I thought I did previously. And I became comfortable going on camera and explaining to people. I learned that you don't have to look like, say, George Clooney or Brad Pitt, that really it's the sincerity that comes across, and the fact that I'm vouched for by people that are Christian, have Christian values, and and have great followers. And it's just been an amazing 2.5 years. And I actually have been doing this for 30 something years. And for years I'd been thinking, well, maybe I should just become semi-retired and slow things down. But this has just given me renewed energy. And just to wrap up the story, eventually I started going on the Reawaken America tour, but not every stop. I only wanted to go to one here and one there. And then it just became so clear that this was what I should be doing that I just started going to every tour stop. And that's where I see Donné every single time. And it's just been probably the most fun time of my life, actually.
Yes.
Honestly, really. Because, my meeting with Clay Clark was people kept saying, because my dad had prophesied about a man named Clark, and people kept trying to tell me there's this man named Clay Clark. And it was after the 2020 election. I was so depressed. And he picked up the phone and called me and invited me to join the tour. And Andrew, you were actually one of the first people I met. So I've known Andrew for a while now. And, everybody should know this is why I agreed to even, use the Beverly Hills Precious Metals as a sponsor. We were looking at who could we use. And because I know Andrew, and because we've talked over the past, it's now, again, almost 2 years, I think, and we see each other at every tour. I mean, once a month last year, I saw Andrew every month. And so I felt good. Like, I know Andrew, and I know that if we bring Andrew to our people, because I know a lot of you are feeling uncertain and not sure what to do. And, if you're anything like me, you don't know anything about finances and maybe just the basics. So it's really helpful for me. It's been so educational. And yes, Andrew, it was God wanting you to do this, because God is going to make sure he takes care of his people. And it's through people like you that you have that kind of mind, and you can handle that side of things very well. So we feel very confident in our partnership together now with Beverly Hills Precious Metals and with you. And also, yes, the Reawaken America tour has been great fun. And we do actually have another one coming up now in Vegas. It'll be August 25th and 26th, or 24th, 25th. Oh my goodness, you have to go to thrivetimeshow.com and you'll be able to see everything about that. But Andrew and I and my mother have all been at the Reawaken America tour. That's how God brought us all together. And so we're bringing this to you today. And if you put in that promo code, then that's helpful too. And this is a way that we're all supporting one another. Because something that General Flynn pointed out that really stuck with me is that we are that remnant of people like Dad prophesied. And, the other side, the media and Hollywood and the politicians, they're all backed by billions and billions of dollars. And so our little voices would not get heard unless we could support each other this way. And God has joined us together in a most unique and exciting way in this sort of troublesome time.
The world is changing.
Yes,
we need to change with the times. And, we need to reach the unreachable, touch the untouchable. And by cross-pollinating this way, not relying on people's offerings as a Christian ministry all the time, is another way of you actually reaching the unreachable by buying your physical gold. You're actually supporting the House of Destiny as well. So it's a
wonderful thing. I think it's a great thing, and I'm very excited about this. So everybody watching, you're going to start to see on all of our broadcasts and social media posts and on our website, you're going to start to see that BHPM, and you may be wondering what it is. Well, this is what it is. And I really encourage you, if you're interested in gold and silver and God's currency in this uncertain time, especially when we're hearing about centralized digital currencies, which is a very frightening thing. It's good to know that God's currency is still there, and we can still utilize it. So thank you so much, Andrew, for joining us today. Is there anything else you want to share before we go?
Well, I would say that the urgency is there to at least reach out and begin the conversation. Go to bh-pm.com, fill out the online form, and talk with someone here at our company. Right now, the gold and silver is available. The wait times are very short, and the premiums are low. It won't stay that way. There's a couple times a year where the premiums go higher because things happen in the world. events happen where people get frightened, and the more frightened they are, the more they want to protect themselves with gold and silver. So get it while it's more easily available and while it's a better buy. Right now is one of those times.
Excellent.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, everybody, here at the House of Destiny. And thank you, Andrew. And we will see you all on the next broadcast. My name is Jane Clement, and I am the president of the House of Destiny Network.
My name is Donné Clement Petrushka, and I am the vice president of the House of Destiny Network. My dad used to have a thing called $5 in your face offering. And he did that because he understood that sometimes people might be sitting there saying, well, I only have a little bit to give. But I often use the analogy of a car engine. You know, everybody feels like maybe they're not too important, or maybe their little part they're playing is small, or what can I do as I see these things going on around me? And you may think that that's a little bit, but it's a huge amount when we come together and support one another. And so just as little as $5 can help us with our missions. It can help us with just keeping these prophecies, all these prophecies that came through my dad, coming to you. And it takes quite a bit to be able to find it and edit it and present it. And so there's a whole staff of people that work very, very hard to make sure that we can get this information to you. And it is vital in this season because of what was prophesied. And so, again, you may feel that $5 is not much, but it's something. And then you are a part of something and a part of doing something where you may feel like it's, you know, there's nothing you can do. There is something you can do. You can support the people who God has put at the front lines, who are actively making a difference.
I first met Kim in 1978. The price of gold back then was $200 an ounce. Today, it's gone up to $2,000 an ounce.
I can tell you inflation is a real thing because in a very short period of time, just living in the state of Tennessee, I had moved from California. I could see the difference when I moved here, just in the grocery store, and since 2020, the way prices have risen, it's not much different than when I lived in California now.
To schedule a consultation with Beverly Hills Precious Metals, go to bh-pm.com and make an appointment today.
One thing about Mike Lindell, and this is going back to many, many years, we like to support people like him because, number one, he's a Christian in the marketplace, which is something that my dad not only prophesied a lot about, but really truly believed in. And so for many years, our ministry has supported Mike Lindell for being a Christian, but also supporting one another. It makes us stronger against those big tech people who are backed by billions of dollars, that together we can make a difference and get a message out there.
By using the promo code Kim Clement, you're not only supporting Mike Lindell, but you're also helping us reach the unreachable, touch the untouchable, and reach the world with the gospel.
This was sacred to God. This is exactly why I need some action from my people. Hello, everybody. It's an honor to be with you.
Over 40 years ago, Kim and I embarked on a ministry journey that has now become a global network through the power of the internet. As part of this pioneering work, we are gathering people from all over the world to worship together, grow in our faith, and inspire hope through an uplifting message. We are dedicated to reaching out with God's message of hope and love to all without discrimination or judgment. We invite you to join our House of Destiny free membership that allows you to connect with members from around the world. Through our prayer wall, you can post your requests and have others join us in prayer. It's so powerful when the saints gather and believe for a breakthrough. We invite you to join today. Simply click the online church login and sign up. Partnerships are vital to our global outreach, enabling us to take the love and hope of Jesus Christ to those who need it most. Our Boots on the Ground Partnership Program physically ministers to those in desperate situations all over the world. The Israel Partnership furthers Kim's legacy of outreach to Israel and Jewish people worldwide. We invite you to become a partner today. We are here for you, and we have worked hard to provide the resources and tools to help you grow in your faith. Join us today and be part of a community that inspires hope, brings restoration to life, and often healing from the past. Together, we can make a difference, and we thank you for your ongoing support.